Okay, so we got the movie The Materialists. It's an adult romance narrative movie hitting theaters just in time for the hot steamy summer season as an A-list all-star cast of Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. When a matchmaker who's in New York City, by the way, gets confronted with the man possibly of her dreams, but also a man of her past which she has a deeper connection to, which comes confounded to a decision does not come lightly. Does she go back to her past, which she has a deeper connection to, or does this new future guy have everything she wants and more if she chooses that route? Or does she choose her life, her career, and herself first before the relationship? And guess what? There's another option that doesn't get presented in the film, but what does she choose? Find out as we talk about it. When I started to get wind of this movie being made and the A-list actors that was going to be portrayed in a romance movie, I instantly perked up and got excited. However, that excitement turned to downfall as I found that it was a love triangle. Some of you come to this channel because we talk a lot about romance movies, and I love romance movies. I love women, so of course I would try to put my intake in that, which two things: I appreciate, love you, and I thank you. Love triangles is something of the romance world that I really don't like, and I'll explain my reasonings why. I've been that guy multiple times where the girl chooses me. She chooses me over the one guy or many guys or whatever. But guess what? But I've also been the guy where the girl doesn't choose me. She chose Peter or whatever, or Fabian, you know, or like Xavier or whatever. And these are just random names, you know. She doesn't choose me. And I hate that because someone gets hurt, and I hate that. You know, I've been hurt way too many times in my life. Seeing the discourse online, I will talk about it and we'll touch up on that in a second. However, some people do feel bamboozled and mismarketed, although I couldn't say that applies to me, and I'll explain the reasonings why, and I'll talk about it later on. But let's get to the nitty gritty of this review. So Dakota Johnson's character is basically a matchmaker in New York City, which is awesome because I just visited New York for the first time last year for New York Comic Con, so I had a blast at the rooftops and the martinis. Before YouTube, I was going to school to become a relationship therapist, so I was trying to get my psychology degree, right? I wanted to be a marriage counselor. I wanted to help people with their marriages, but also the matchmaking job was a dream job. So it's cool because she works for this company, and a lot of their clients or their workers are helping set out clients for future installments of dates to get their perfect match or mate or whatever they're looking for, right? I think she's perfect for this role. Some of you have known she's in the past for other romance movies, hint hint, 50 Shades of Grey. So she has a lot of backbone and background for in terms of romance and stuff. And I think her character is actually pretty cool. I couldn't help to feel the character needed to be uptight and also not kind in some parts in the film. She has to look at things objectively, and her transformation throughout the film, let's be honest, it's kind of predictable. I get the feeling the company she works for is always trying to tell her to find the one, you know, humbling, find the girls, find clients, you know, asking them, because her job, basically, she tries to find clients, and those clients are questions of, hey, what are you looking for in your true guy or true girl? Is it between height, race, money? What kind of hobbies do they like? What kind of apartments? And they really go into some nitty-gritty details and also some comedic takes in terms of interviewing the clients that she wants this company to be like, hey, I can match you up with so-and-so, just tell me what you're looking for, or what are your non-negotiables, so to speak, in terms of finding the perfect mate. Then quickly, short after, in the marriage, in the first opening acts, we meet Pedro Pascal's character, and this is the touting the type of guy that has everything. He meets her at the marriage, which, hint hint, funny, she actually started with one of her clients, and basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but he says something on the lines of, you're making them feel like it's their idea because no one likes being told what they need. And I think that's a quote exactly from the movie, or I'm paraphrasing, I might have messed it up, but I think that was an amazing opening act because he is paying attention to her, so that's what grabs her attention in terms of initial attraction. But also, he is touting the guy that the movie is saying he's the perfect guy. He's a handsome guy, he's tall, he has money, he works in finance. I don't think he has blue eyes based on the song Blue Eyes 5'6" or 6'5" finance. So he works in finance, but I don't think he has blue eyes. Yeah, he doesn't have blue eyes, I'm sorry, but he's still like the perfect dreaming guy. And one of the conversations they have, she's telling him he is a unicorn. Now, I've had unicorns in my life. You don't know what a unicorn is. Basically, in the dating world, in the romance world, a guy or girl, girls have more. A unicorn is someone that is attracted to you or wants you, but is perfect in everywhere in terms of looks, money. It has everything. The world has his or her feet at their side, like disposable. So that's what a unicorn basically is from a movie. And I had 3 unicorns so far in my life, so hopefully I have one more. Chris Evans is showing up right after, and him, on the other hand, he's actually the waiter at the restaurant. He's like Pedro Pascal's character, what do you want? And she says, I want a Coke and a beer, and he literally puts it down, and I saw saw that little snippet, like a 20-second teaser on my Instagram feed, and that's the only like long form content or short form that I seen from the movie, and I had to buy the ticket. I was like, with that, yes. But he is her past, and you see the different dynamics between she has with Pedro Pascal and also with Chris Evans. And you learn later on they've broken up due to other reasons, which I don't want to spoil it for you, but he seems like the guy that she has to play for banter with, and also the lifelong longing of maybe wanting to be again. I mean, it didn't seem like their breakup was because he cheated or anything. Maybe it was for other things that were out of his control, but things wishing that could have been different from the eyes that I get from Dakota Johnson when she talks to Chris Evans. Like when she's talking to him, she's like, damn, I wish things could have been different. If things would have been better, which is, like I told you, outside his control. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but I don't want to talk about spoilers right now. So some people online are in the discords are saying they don't have enough chemistry, and I don't necessarily think that's true. I think for whatever reason she has chemistry with Chris Evans more than Pedro Pascal. I don't know if that's due to the screenplay or the writing or the fact that they actually needed to feel like they had a relationship prior, but I feel like with Pedro Pascal it's more situational, and I feel like Chris Evans is more playful banter, as I just discussed, without spoiling any types of details for you. One of the cool aspects about the film, which we'll talk about the negatives right after, is that the movie looks amazing. It's shot beautifully in amazing, luxurious dinner, elegant versions of restaurants in New York City. Pedro Pascal's character has enough money to take her out in these wine and dine fancy dinner dates, and it's beautiful, luxurious restaurants, and this is the reasons why I like the movie. Personally, I saw this on Saturday, right? Beginning of summer, like 2 weeks ago. I'm a little bit late, I'm sorry. So I saw this on Saturday, 1:45. I just woken up, I just went to Starbucks, and I just took a shower. I took a shower first and I went to Starbucks. I saw this movie early in the day because this was my primer for my big event. So I was wearing an all white tux. I was pre-primed to like this movie because of my attire, my whole night going to, I mean, I did end up going to Cheesecake Factory, but I went to this Italian restaurant for martinis right before the haunted house in Chicago, and then I went to a concert. So I was presupposed to liking this. So I have a little bit of emotional attachment, but you can't deny that some of the shots look beautiful. His apartment looks amazing. He has money. Of course, he works in finance. He has these beautiful, luxurious wardrobes in terms of tuxes. Dude, he looks good. I'm like, dude, this is the type of apartment lifestyle that I want growing up when I get older. Now we're going to talk about the controversy. People are saying that it's mismarketed and they felt bamboozled because it was marketed a certain way. I usually take movies for what it is, but I guess the reason why earlier I told you it doesn't really apply to me, which is just a personal thing, I never watch trailers when I see a movie. I haven't watched a trailer since 2019 Rise of Skywalker. I do look at still images and photos on Instagram. Now that little snippet was an Instagram reel, right? I guess they were in like the 4A lobby of the marriage, and she's sitting down and Pedro Pascal's character is telling her, what would you like? And starts off like that, right? And she says, a beer and a Coke, and he puts it down, Chris Evans, and I immediately clicked off. I'm like, that is the furthest I've seen for this movie. Although I can't deny that some people do feel bamboozled, and I still haven't looked at the trailers because I feel like it will displease my viewing of the movie, because I don't ever look at trailers because they reveal too much or if it's mismarketed. I want the first time to be initial in the theaters amazing the best way possible. But I can't undeny that some people are having that feelings, and it's rightfully so, you know, that's why I'm addressing it here. Although it's definitely far from romance. I mean, yeah, there's hints of romance in terms of the interviews she does for her future clients, but I can't feel that it's more of a slow, invigorating narrative of real life dating in 2025. So they're touting it as romance, right? But it's anything but that. It's a slow, adult, invigorating narrative, but a great representation of real life dating in 2025, especially in the ages of 25 and 40, or maybe 50. Don't get me wrong, it's slow at most of the points in the movie, and me being 30 years old, me going to the earlier screening on Saturday, like I told you, with the white tux, getting ready for my big event, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think I was the youngest person in the theater, and I did feel, I'm like, wow, I feel a little bit slow right now in terms of the pacing and the structure and what's going on with the dialogue. So it does feel in some runs of the movie, because I said this in my quick added theater reactions. If you're one of my younger viewings, I love you and I thank you. But I don't think necessarily this is for you, because younger audience and older audience for dating are too much more different things, especially in 2025. With that being said, it is kind of slow. That's like the big thing that I want you to know. And the reason why I told you it's a real life dating interpretation in 2025 is because dating now, especially after college and high school, and I don't know what your experience is, but for me it's a little bit slow. Yes, thank you. There's some coffee dates in Chicago that if you go on like on Saturday for like 3 hours, you find singles that are wanting to be in a relationship, which is great. But when you're in high school, when you're in college, I remember having so many friends, being introduced to many great women and other guys and other friends that would introduce me to women, you know, just text me like, hey, you know, friends with benefits take over the scene now. But when you're older, you focus on your career, know who your true friends are, you want to work out more, you want to go to movies. For me, I have to do movies, and And literally this, I still have to go to work tonight, so dating becomes a little bit more harder. I don't have time to be swiping left or right. And the reason why, one of the showcases of her matchmaking is because she actually provides results. And that's one of the things I'm like, is this like a scam or whatever? Because they're paying big money. And no, they actually actively try to find other mates. You know, they go for a quick interview. She relays that in her paperwork, and she finds the other mates. Another thing too that can be a double-edged sword is that when they're on these luxurious dates, the movie doesn't shy away from complicated topics. Especially Pedro Pascal's character and Dakota Johnson's are talking about being a unicorn, and Dakota Johnson validly brings up to Pedro Pascal, why would you want to be with me when you know you can have someone 10 years younger that's beautiful and sexy and gorgeous? So without being doubtful and regretful, a lot of people fall into the pitfalls of dating because why would you? I mean, it's a valid question, and Pedro Pascal delivers that answer in spades, you know? And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I love that the movie doesn't shy away. Sometimes the camera lingers on their dialogue where they add to what they're eating, what they're talking about, and it sometimes does these close-up shots when things get really intense in terms of the narrative, which I really like because I'm a 30-year-old guy. So when they're talking about this, I'm like, dude, this is awesome because I do want to know what you guys think of romance in 2025, especially the creators of the movie. And I'm sorry this review is taking a little bit longer, but we're on the last topic here. Romance for me is amazing. I love romance. I went to school for romance. I'm still trying to date a romance, but finding someone that's like a unicorn, which she does tell you, Pedro Pascal, that he's a unicorn. If you don't know what a unicorn is, I think I explained it before, that it's a person, guy or girl, that comes once or twice or maybe 3 times in a year, maybe 4. I'm sorry, not year, but your whole life. So it's valid questions that she wants to know. Does she want to be with this guy that apparently has everything, but she might not have an emotional attachment to based on the surface? Or does she want to go back to Chris Evans, which there's a longing for, and basically a playfulness and banterness that she's kind of missing out, but she doesn't get all the luxurious dinner dates, you know? Something to think about. I mean, we would know what people would choose in 2025. It's crazy, you know? It's like superficial. I mean, we live in a 3-second world, which is a book, by the way. Hint, hint. Look, at the end of the day, I fell in love with this movie, but I do understand it has many pitfalls. It's slow, it's mismarketed, and also some of the B plot storylines could have been cut out in terms of her job and one of her clients, although you'd lose kind of some of the aspects of the character aspirations for that. But still, a 2-hour runtime is a lot for especially in hot, steamy summer romance. You gotta think about it. It's summer, it's hot, you know, we're sweating. So I don't think this would be the best. Maybe for like the fall season, but still, at the end of the day, I'm giving this a B-, and I absolutely fell in love. And I probably put this for best of the year, but I did notice there's a lot of downfalls and pitfalls of this movie. If you made it this far, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a review. And with that, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit rambly with this review. It's hot. The AC is broken right now. And, you know, I think that's why the heat is just getting to me. So I do apologize. But anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.